What's going on, everybody? It's Eric from Panola, and we're continuing our trek through Security Plus, objective by objective. And on this one, we're on objective 1.3, where given a scenario, we analyze potential indicators associated with application attacks. Now, this is covered in our textbooks that we use here at Panola, the CompTIA Security Plus, where we work through the objectives of the CompTIA Security Plus exam SY0601. And we're covering topics covered in chapters 6 and 12 inside of this objective. So when we think about how applications are being attacked, we can look at common indicators that may seem out of the ordinary. The application starts acting wonky. Let's say that we type in a string of text like ASDF, and all of a sudden ASDGHJKL starts typing in its place. If the application starts behaving in a manner that is not normal for use, then we may actually have a potential attack going on or some sort of compromise to the program that's on our actual system, and it could be happening over the network as well too. Well, this leads us into being able to secure code everything, or make sure that the secure coding is taking place for those applications. And the way that we do this is we test out different things, preferably on a sandbox environment. Now, this also includes patches and hotfixes and anything that comes from a particular vendor as an update. We don't always want to apply those patches right away on a live network. There may be problems in the coding for that fix as well too. So we try our best to be able to apply these fixes in a controlled environment to where we can monitor and document anything that may or may not be right about the application or even the fix that goes with it. And then over that period of testing time, we'll be able to implement those fixes on the live production network without any loss of data or time, preferably to the user. Now, there's also a couple of other things that we need to take into account too. We don't want those applications to be ran as an administrator or under administrator privileges unless it's absolutely necessary. That's why we always separate duties and also separate accounts. So even if you're an administrator on your network, you want to try your best to log in with regular user permissions, because if somebody compromises that account, well, that's kind of acceptable in the grand scheme of things because it's only user level permissions being attacked. Whereas if we log into our admin account and even let's say a domain admin account on a local system, if that account gets popped, then the infiltrator has access to the domain admin right permissions that we have set to that account. And that's where things can spiral out of control pretty quick. So we try to do things like run as administrator on our Windows systems, or even use sudo when we're inside of a POSIX-based systems or a Linux box for more common naming. And then when we're done with those applications, we make sure that we close them fully and always check like the task manager or the processes that's actually running on that individual system to make sure the application fully closed, so that way there's no lingering domain admin rights or elevated rights on that particular system that we don't know about. Now, we can also kind of check on the network to see what's actually going on as well too, because we can monitor traffic on that system to see if there's any unauthorized use. And this gives us an insight to see if a program is communicating over the network when it's not supposed to be. For instance, let's say that we have Notepad open up, and all of a sudden, that being the only thing open on that system, there's network traffic coming from notepad.exe. This could be the sign of a program being hijacked, or let's say a Trojan horse or malicious code being injected into that notepad.exe file that's making traffic go over the network, because normally it just works on the individual system. And that's where knowing your applications and your systems and your network comes into very valuable practice. Now, lastly, we're going to close this one out with being able to check the event logs. Now, whether this is on a Windows system or a POSIX-based system, being able to go in and check those event logs for any kind of installation that you weren't necessarily aware of, or any kind of alteration on that system that you weren't necessarily aware of, and tying all those event logs to an event capture, or in Windows terms, event forwarding to a Windows server that maintains all of those event logs. That's just an example. But the whole point behind this objective in objective 1.3 is just making sure that we analyze all of our programs and activity to see if anything has been compromised, or if there are any signs of compromising on the network. And just to keep those in mind as we act as those security managers or security technicians. Now go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button and follow along with us here on the channel. here on the YouTubes to make sure that we keep going in our Security Plus work. Also, check out panola.edu for other programs like cybersecurity, networking, and digital forensics. As always, it's fun being here, and I hope to see you next time.